The movie begins in an amazing world filled with Pokémon, mysterious creatures with unique powers that set them apart from one another. With hundreds of species already discovered, more are still to be seen. Despite the risks, scientists spend hundreds of hours researching and recreating Pokémons. One such Pokémon is Mewtwo, which was spliced from the DNA of the legendary Pokémon Mew to create the ultimate psychic Pokémon. After coming to terms with its existence, Mewtwo assumes the role of protector and guardian of all Pokémon. Mewtwo is later seen competing with other flying Pokémon when it decides to test its limits by flying into space. As he grew closer to outer space, he struggled to breathe and lost consciousness, falling back to Earth. Meanwhile, Genesects, ancient Pokémon brought to life from fossilized relics, crossed the Arctic in search of their home when all they found was a barren wasteland covered in ice and snow. The leader of the Genesect insisted on exploring further when they came upon an avalanche that would bury them alive. Mewtwo regains consciousness as he falls back to Earth and hears one of the Genesects' cries of wanting to return home. He hurries to where he hears the cries, saves the group, and realizes that, like him, humans created them. He saw through their memories, which broke out from the facility immediately after they woke up, much like when he first awakened. The Red Genesect, their leader, survived the avalanche unscathed and attacked Mewtwo, who saw everything as a threat. Mewtwo explains that the home they once knew is long gone, as millions of years have passed since then. The Genesects retreat, insisting on finding their home, where they set their destination towards New Torque City. Meanwhile, Pokémon trainer Ash Ketchum has traveled the world with his Pokémon partner Pikachu, aiming to become the world's greatest Pokémon master. Accompanying him on his journey are Iris Ajagara, aspiring to become the first Dragon Master, and Syllan Griffith, a self-proclaimed Pokémon connoisseur. Their travels have taken them to New Torque City in the Unova region, where they plan to visit the esteemed Pokémon Hills, a nature park in the middle of the city that houses hundreds of Pokémons from different environments. Eric later greets them, a park ranger who works at Pokémon Hills, after hearing a word from Professor Oaks about Ash and the others visiting. After being given a tour, Ash and Pikachu head to the Hedge Maze, where they arrive at the lake. They later find an unusual Pokémon, one of the Genesect, who shares the same interest in Punna lotuses, an ancient flower said to exist 300 million years ago, that grows at the river. Ash and Pikachu tried to befriend it when Genesect became a flying saucer. Iris and Syllan catch up to Ash and meet the friendly Genesect. When it cries, wishing for his home, Ash comforts him, promises to help when the Red Genesect arrives, and orders the others to attack Ash and his friends. Pikachu tried to fight back with Thunderbolt but was no match for the Genesect. The friendly Genesect tried to stand up to his leader when he was forced to obey orders and attack Ash. When the Genesect attacked Ash and the others, Mewtwo arrived and saved them from certain doom. Thinking it was over, the Genesect retreated to the others. Ash and the others fell as the ground caved in when Mewtwo protected them from the brunt of the attack. Ash thanks Mewtwo but claims he only planned to save Pokémons like Pikachu and Axew. Mewtwo explains that Genesect was ancient Pokémons said to be extinct for millions of years. They were recreated from unearthed fossils and then weaponized by the same people who created them. Ever since they awakened, everything has been new to them, different from the world they grew up in, so they see everything as a threat. Team Rocket overhears their conversation and plans on capturing Genesect, hoping they can use them to conquer the world. Ash and the others later return to a Pokémon Center to have Pikachu treated. There, Ash explains to Eric and Nurse Joy what they learned, to which they claim they have yet to hear of Genesect or of Mewtwo. Later, Ash notices a picture at the center, which Eric explains are Punna lotuses, said to be the most ancient of all flowers in existence, which they have successfully transplanted at the lake. Later that night, the Genesects chased off all native Pokémons from Pokémon Hills. They then create strange stone formations using their powers to make a giant nest in the middle of the nature park. While all the Pokémons flee for their lives, only one tries to stand its ground, a Feraligatr. Later, the foreign terrain created by the Genesect even grew into the substation and affected the city's power supply. When Ash and the others ran to check Pokémon Hills, they found native Pokémons outside and witnessed the Genesect chase off a Feraligatr. When Eric, Ash, and the others tried to enter Pokémon Hills, they were denied entry by the Genesect, so they sneaked inside through the side and into the substation. With the flickering of the lights, Eric worries that the Genesect would tamper with the generators, affecting not only Pokémon Hills but the entire New Torque City. Meanwhile, on top of the bridge, Mewtwo remembers how it was when he first awakened. After destroying and escaping the facility where he was created, he tried to run as far as he could but could only get so far during a thunderstorm. He tries to find shelter in a cave and finds other Pokémons taking refuge from the storm inside. Mewtwo loses consciousness and wakes up surrounded by Pokémon, keeping him warm. He later realized he was never alone and had found his place in the world. Reminded of his humble beginnings, Mewtwo can't help himself help the Gene Sect find their home, a place of their own in this new world. Mewtwo later learns of the Gene Sect rampaging at Pokémon Hills and driving off the native Pokémon that he can no longer ignore, so he heads on over there. Later, a native Feraligatr forcibly entered Pokémon Hills when the Red Gene Sect attacked it. As Feraligatr falls to the ground, Mewtwo arrives and saves it. Mewtwo then confronts the Red Gene Sect, and their battle takes to the air and embarks on a high-speed chase around the city. Mewtwo tried to reason with it, but it kept attacking him. After realizing it doesn't want to listen to him, Mewtwo takes the fight seriously. As Red Gene Sect tries to attack Mewtwo without caring about the consequences of their battle, he uses his full powers and awakens to his chibi form. Mewtwo now has super speed as if time looked like it stopped, to which Red Gene Sect surprisingly could cope. Meanwhile, back at Pokémon Hills, Ash and the others are confronted by the other Gene Sects and try to attack them. Pikachu fights back with Electro Ball but is easily brushed off. Although the friendly Gene Sect tried to talk to the other Gene Sects, they showed no signs of stopping. Sillin arrives just in time with reinforcements, Pokémons ready to fight and take back Pokémon Hills. Ash and the friendly Gene Sect try to calm both sides, but they don't seem to listen to reason. Even the friendly Gene Sect got attacked with a Shadow Ball attack from Houndoom when it was trying to reason with it. Feraligatr leads the attack against the other Gene Sects. With only 3 of them, the Gene Sects are outnumbered and cornered by the native Pokémons when the Red Gene Sect returns and attacks the ground. With the Red Gene Sect back, they launch a coordinated multi-element charged attack at the native Pokémons. With the native Pokémons beaten down, the Gene Sects try to finish them off when Ash comes in between, trying to reason with them. The friendly Gene Sect jumps in front of Ash and protects him from the attack, which later collapses. Even with one of them down, the Gene Sects stand in formation and continue attacking. As they launch another coordinated attack at the native Pokémons, Mewtwo arrives, creating a powerful force field to protect everyone. Realizing that the Gene Sects have no plan of stopping, Mewtwo is determined to stop them at all costs. With Red Gene Sect leading them, they chase Mewtwo and surround him. Mewtwo uses Psystrike by creating a massive electrical charge around himself and blew the other Gene Sects away. He then uses Shadow Ball on the Red Gene Sect, but it remains unfazed by the attack. The other Gene Sects surround Mewtwo again, but Mewtwo uses Awaken to increase his speed, which only Red Gene Sect can handle. The other Gene Sects waited for their chance to attack Mewtwo with a sticky web to restrain him, but they got dragged around instead. The Gene Sects fell into the substation and accidentally started a fire which took out the city's power. With their nest on fire, the friendly Gene Sect tries to put it out when Ash summons Oshawott to use Hydro Pump. When it wasn't enough to remove the fire, Feraligatr uses Hydro Pump with Oshawott. Golem and Graveler used Sandstorm to smother the fire. Sableye, Ralts, and Kirlia used Psychic to control and aim the water directly at the fire. When the fire trapped the other Gene Sects, Persian used Shadow Ball to blow water on the fire that was trapping them. After seeing the others giving their all to save them and their nest, they realized that the other Pokémons are not enemies and stop fighting against them. Meanwhile, Mewtwo gets knocked out by a Blaze Kick when Ash and the others grab Mewtwo before he falls. Mewtwo regains consciousness and attacks with Shadow Ball, while Red Gene Sect uses Bug Buzz. Ash ran in between them, stopping their fight. He explains that although this may not be their home now, there is a place for them, suggesting that every Pokémon has its place in this vast world. When the Red Gene Sect has no plans to stop, the Gene Sects stand beside Ash, urging their leader to stop fighting. Even the other native Pokémons stand behind Ash, and the others suggest having the same wish. Even against everyone, the Red Gene Sect refuses to stop and attacks them with Techno Blast when Mewtwo stops it with a powerful force field. He then uses Psychic on him and takes him to outer space, where Mewtwo loses consciousness. Mewtwo wakes up to a calm Red Gene Sect who sees the world's beauty and realizes they live on one planet. As Pokémons alike, they are expected to protect and live together as friends, which Red Gene Sect understands now. As they re-enter the atmosphere and return to the others, Mewtwo loses consciousness during re-entry, so Red Gene Sect tries to catch him, but he cannot control their fall. When the other Genesects realize that Mewtwo and their leader are falling, they fly to the sky to catch them. Ash summons Charizard while Iris calls out to Dragonite to help. The Genesects created a sticky web to cushion their fall while Dragonite and Charizard tried to break their fall. When the web broke, it was up to Ash and the others to help Mewtwo and Red Genesect. While Sableye, Kirlia, and Ralts created a giant water bubble with Psychic, while Feraligatr and Oshawott used Hydro Pump to expand it so it would stand to cushion their fall. After seeing everyone come together to save them, Red Genesect comes to peace with himself and accepts the others as friends. Ash thought that the Genesects would have a good home at the national park by the lake where Punna lotuses still grow, which the friendly Genesect was so fond of. Later, the Genesects moved their nest to the lake, where Eric and even Mewtwo thanked Ash for helping the Genesects find a home. After claiming to be friends with Ash and the others, Mewtwo flew into the air with a newfound respect for humans despite his unfortunate origins. After spending the night with Eric, Ash and the others continue their journey across Unova to become the greatest Pokemon master and embark on new battles and adventures. The end. Thank you for watching. Check out these other videos and make sure to subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you next time.